In today's rapid review, we're going to be talking about the Wallace and Gromit short films while I gather sand and gravel for my tower. Spoilers ahead. At first, when writing this script, I was going to review them in chronological order, but I quickly got bored of that idea and decided to rank them. My least favorite of the four is A Matter of Loaf and Death. It starts out with Baker Bob battered by his own rolling pin. We then find out Wallace and Gromit are bakers. Well, Gromit is the baker, Wallace just drives. Come to think of it, Wallace doesn't really help with the jobs, at all. Gromit does all the important work on the rocket, he's the one that catches Feathers McGraw, he's the one that washes the windows, and he also bakes the bread. Anyway, while they're out selling bread, Wallace accidentally kills an old lady with a loaf and saves Paella, the Bake-A-Lite girl. But as per usual, Wallace is too stupid to see the glaring fact that Paella is the serial killer, and after Paella finally reveals herself, Gromit and the gang have a duel in the attic until Paella died to crocodiles. Next up is A Close Shave. We start out with Gromit knitting before being interrupted by a loud truck. Sean the sheep breaks out of the truck in typical Sean fashion. Preston the dog notices Sean but doesn't get out to pick him up. Why is a literal dog driving a semi-truck, you may ask? Because he's a better driver than the woman he sits next to. Also, probably because he steals sheep to shear them and have a monopoly on wool, and so he can grind them down into dog food later on. Wallace and Gromit are called to clean the windows at this yarn place, but only after eating their porridge. The yarn place turns out to be Preston and his owner's place. Wallace falls in love with the daughter of an inventor. Meanwhile, Gromit gets framed for stealing sheep and ends up in prison for life. Wallace, Sean, and the other sheep break Gromit out of prison just before going on a motorcycle chase with Preston. The sheep use their ability of aerial acrobatics, while Gromit uses his aviator skills to defeat Preston. Wait, never mind. Preston gets away with Wallace and the sheep and is about to turn them into dog food when Gromit shows up and throws Preston into the Nidomatic. This reveals that Preston is a cyberdog. A Grandy Out is a classic. Wallace and Gromit are bored at home while searching for a place to vacation at. Wallace is munching on cheese and crackers. Wait, big problem though.
No cheese, Gromit.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Easy fix, however, because
Everybody knows the moon's made of cheese.
Wallace and Gromit build a rocket to go to the moon. Once they release the parking brake, they blast off towards the surface of the moon. But just how fast are they going? The flight sequence happens in real time, so using a stopwatch, we deducted 2 minutes and 34 seconds to go from the surface of the Earth to the surface of the moon. We also know the distance between the moon and the Earth is 238,855 miles. Using the speed formula, we find that the rocket travels at speeds of 6,124,490 miles per hour towards the moon. Mind you, this is a homemade rocket built off the literal back of Gromit, a door, and the ludicrous speed of Wallace hammering. Once they land, Wallace kicks a ball never to be seen again. A vending machine moon enforcer thing that likes to ski almost kills them twice before they escape back to Earth. My absolute favorite piece of art and media is the wrong trousers. It's Gromit's birthday, and after buying a present, Wallace is a little short on money. The reason? The present was ex-NASA Techno trousers. These bad boys can stick to walls and walk on their own through programming, but Wallace just uses it to be extra lazy and walk Gromit. Wallace then begins to rent out his home, booting out Gromit in the process. It wasn't intentional, but Gromit gets absolutely betrayed in this episode. While out on the streets, Gromit finds out his new tenant is actually the criminal mastermind Feathers McGraw. But it's a little late. Wallace is taken for a joyride in the Techno trousers where he unwillingly steals a diamond from a museum. Wallace is taken home where Feathers packs his things and on the way out the door gets chased by Gromit and Wallace. This results in the coolest train chase in cinematic history. Feathers has a gun and shoots at Gromit, who is also on the train. Eventually, Feathers switches the track, sending Gromit into untracked territory, but it's okay because there's a bottomless box of spare track. Gromit uses all 224 parts of spare track, yes, I counted it, to catch back up with Feathers, where he slams against a cabinet, accidentally catching a bottle just in time for a flying Feathers McGraw to land in it. As per usual, Wallace does absolutely nothing to help catch the villain, and claims part of the glory anyway. If I had a nickel for every time Gromit was done absolutely dirty, I'd have at least 4 nickels, which is a lot considering there's only 4 episodes. Gromit gets used as a sawhorse, he's thrown out on the streets after being replaced by a criminal, he's thrown behind bars for something he didn't even do, and his owner won't listen to him even though he knows who the serial killer is. Come to think of it, even the name of the shorts does Gromit dirty. It's called Wallace and Gromit, even though Gromit is the one who saves the day and does 90% of the work. Gromit is the main baker, window washer, and is the reason Wallace wakes up at all each morning. The only thing Gromit isn't done dirty by is his mug. Gromit's mug is way cooler than Wallace's, and it's also cooler than Feather's McGraw bottle, but just by a little bit. I remember owning The Wrong Trousers and A Grande Out on VHS, meaning I could rewatch the train sequence over and over again. I wish everyone knew about these films because they really are special. Each of the characters are so iconic, with their own unique personalities and looks. The claymation only gets better over time, and it's an art form that has definitely grown on me. But what I think sticks out most about Wallace and Gromit is its premise. A dog and its owner create silly and unnecessary contraptions, all the while accidentally fighting crime and saving the day. And the episodes harbor a dark premise while still being great for younger audiences. Like, serial killers and sheep-munching robo-dogs should not be as funny as they are, but I rest my case. That sums up my thoughts on the Wallace and Gromit short films. If you enjoyed today's rapid review, let me know down in the comments section and share with your fellow movie lovers. And if you haven't seen the shorts, go and watch them and see what you think. Your own opinion will always, sometimes, be more important than mine. Next week's video is going to be on Chicken Run to prepare us for the sequel in 2 weeks. So subscribe so you don't miss out on that.